I figured out how to install this attic ladder using an electric hoist so that I can lift it into the ceiling and install it by myself. And in this video, I'll show you how I did that. What I'm going to do now is drill a hole up into the attic so that I know where this is when I'm in the attic. And from that, I can back into all the other measurements based on the measurement of the attic ladder. Now I'm going to just take some of this fish tape and feed it in there. Is this it? It came up right through here. Geez, this looks like a bad place. Maybe I'll move it one joist over and back a little bit. If you read the instructions for your attic ladder, it'll probably say something like, just stick a saw up through the drywall and start cutting a hole. I really don't like this approach at all because especially if it's an old attic or you have wiring running through there, you don't really know what's up there. You don't want to just start cutting a hole. You don't know if it's the right spot. So it's worth going into the attic first. Hopefully you have some kind of access to get up there to find a suitable location from the vantage point of being in the attic. The rest of the install is pretty much according to the instructions, minus the electric hoist. The instructions really want you to have 2 people, but I don't have 2 people. Anyway, before you start cutting up your ceiling joists, you need to install some blocking so that when you cut the gap out, your ceiling doesn't crash down. And once that's cut out, you can add a second 2x6 or 2x8, depending on how your ceiling is built, that will form the frame of where the attic ladder will go. The dimensions for the opening I need are 29.5 by 30.5. This ladder is on the smaller side. You can get larger ones. And this is an old house, so these joists aren't spaced perfectly, 16 inches on center. So there was like a 33-inch space between these 2 joists. And so I grabbed an extra 2x6 along with an extra piece of a fence post I had from another project to close the remaining gap so that I have 30.5-inch opening. If you've ever cut through plaster, it's no joke. That's why I'm using a Sawzall here, but if you just have drywall ceilings, you can just use a normal drywall saw and easily cut out the shape of the framing that you made. But it took me a little longer, and I had to create a little more mess. To mount the hoist, I'm just cutting some angles in these pieces of wood to fit my roof shape. It's 120 degrees total, 60 on each side, so that's how I cut the wood. And I'm just using these to reinforce the roof rafters, but also serve as an attachment point for the hoist rail. I'm using a uni-strut rail, and I got mine from Lowe's. I ordered it at first from Amazon, but that one had a manufacturing issue, so don't get it from Amazon, get it from Lowe's. The links for all the parts I used are in the description. along with these brackets and whatnot to mount the rail. And then with a trolley, the hoist is able to roll back and forth so it doesn't cover the entrance to the attic all the time. Installing and securing the attic ladder to the ceiling is sort of the easy part. The hard part is actually lifting it and getting it up there. That's why I needed this hoist. So everything works great. Securing it and leveling it wasn't that difficult. I just had one small issue. Well, this worked almost perfectly, except I guess this thing is made to be cut in between 2x8s instead of 2x6s. So because the this lip hangs down by about an inch. So I need to put some spacers on these corners to bring the whole thing up a little bit, but after that it'll be good. Well, I figured it out. This ladder is working great. Another project knocked off my list, and I hope you found this video useful. By the way, this hoist is useful for lifting all kinds of stuff, not just attic ladders. I used it to lift this air handler for the central AC system that I'm installing in this house. But that's another project for another video.